Fiona? Fiona?
Welcome back to Director's Choice. Pretty much every animated movie ever created has its own theory. Some theories are funny and outrageous, while others are dark and downright creepy. The theory we'll be looking at today falls strongly in the dark and creepy zone. It's a Shrek theory that will probably send shivers down your spine and make you think twice about the widely beloved movie. Do you think you can handle it? Shrek is a 2001 movie about a green ogre who teams up with a donkey to rescue a princess.
Why don't you go celebrate your freedom with your own friends?
But, I don't have any friends.
The movie received so much praise when it came out that it even won an Oscar. Everyone loved how Shrek took the usual fairy tale concept and spun it on its head. This was the first time when true love didn't make the cursed person conventionally beautiful. It wasn't a Beauty and the Beast scenario where the beast reverted to a handsome prince. It was a princess and an ogre scenario where the princess became an ogre in the end. It had never been done before, and the world could not get enough of it. But what happens when we take a magnifying glass and actually examine the movie? Is there anything we could have missed? For example, Princess Fiona was trapped in a tower for years. A tower that no one could enter and no one could leave. So what was she eating? Or more specifically, who was she eating? Princess Fiona is a cannibal. Of all the dark theories out there, this is probably one of the darkest, but it actually makes a lot of sense. Cannibalism is the only way Princess Fiona could have survived so long in the tower. During her time trapped in the tower, several knights tried to rescue the princess, all of whom failed woefully. The theory suggests that Fiona ate the remains of the knights who came to rescue her. This is the only way to explain how she didn't starve to death in the tower. It was a dragon who took care of her while she was there, and I doubt dragons know how to make human food, so what was she eating? How did she get by? She survived by eating humans. Fiona has been in the tower for years. I know it seems crazy, but if you really look at it, you'll see that it's the only plausible explanation. According to Shrek's exposition, Fiona was chosen as a bride for Lord Farquaad. She was locked in the tower for years after a witch placed a terrible curse on her. This curse caused her to take the form of an ogre at night and revert to her human form during the day. Despite her parents' best efforts, they were unable to break the curse, so, as loving parents would do, they locked her up in a tower, which was guarded by a dragon. She was in this tower for at least 20 years, and there's no way the tower had enough food to last for 10 years, let alone 20. At some point, Fiona ran out of food, and she had no choice but to feast on the flesh of the fallen knights. After spending so long in isolation, it's not surprising that she resorted to something so creepy. You might want to argue that she had food supplies brought to her, but I have evidence that contradicts that theory. The only way into the tower was an old bridge that was surrounded by the fiery brimstone and guarded by a dragon. This makes it highly unlikely that anyone brought her food supplies. With nothing else to eat in the tower, the knights began to look a tad appetizing. And who can blame her? She had only two options: die of starvation or eat knight flesh and survive. Fiona becomes an ogre at night. Fiona's curse caused her to become an ogre at night. This curse is similar to every other curse in fairy tale history. Only true love can break it. Fiona spent several years waiting for her true love to arrive and break the curse. Several knights tried, but they died at the hands of the dragon. While Fiona awaited her true love in the tower, she had to use cannibalism to survive. This sounds unbelievable, but when you consider the fact that she changes into an ogre at night, it becomes a lot more plausible. Her human form may have found eating human flesh disgusting, but it wouldn't be so difficult for her ogre form. Ogres and humans have different appetites, so maybe as an ogre, Fiona was able to eat the flesh of the fallen knights without a problem, only becoming an ogre when she was able to commit such an inhumane act. Fiona called herself ugly. At some point in the movie, Fiona refers to herself as ugly. At first glance, it may seem like she's talking about her ogre form. But when she said this, she was talking to Shrek, and she would never say something so insulting to her savior since he's an ogre. If we look at the deeper meaning of Fiona's statement, we might find that she was referring to something else. She may see herself as ugly because of all the awful things she had to do to survive. After eating all that human flesh, she must feel disgusted by herself. It probably haunts her just thinking about it. Visual evidence. Not only is the cannibal theory very plausible, but it also has visual evidence to support it. Firstly, there were skeletons all around the tower. There were a few horse skeletons at the entrance and several knight skeletons in the tower. These knight skeletons are the remains of the knights that Fiona had eaten. And there's even more damning evidence. As Shrek and Fiona make their way out of the tower, they pass a room that looks like a kitchen. In it is a huge cookbook that likely belongs to Dragon. The cookbook is open to a page titled Nightly Treats. It is a recipe that shows the right way to cook a night. And if it isn't suspicious enough, there's also a huge cauldron sitting a few feet away from the cookbook. The cauldron looks like it's big enough to cook a human. This suggests that Dragon has been cooking humans in the cauldron while following the steps in this cookbook. Dragons eating humans is not unorthodox, but it is unorthodox for the dragon to cook its meal first. Most dragons just gobble up their prey without wasting time. This means that Dragon's Nightly Treats recipe and the cauldron were used to cook meals for Fiona. No one but the dragon is allowed to go near the tower, so only he could have fed her. Nightly Treats is a double entendre. A double entendre is a phrase with two meanings, and there's a good chance that the Nightly Treats recipe from Dragon's cookbook was a double entendre. Fiona becomes an ogre at night, so maybe she eats her nightly treats at night. This would be a great way to explain how she copes with the guilt. If she only eats human flesh while she is in her ogre form, then she can comfort herself with the knowledge that she's not eating her fellow humans. This theory suggests that Fiona only eats at night, and then sleeps during the day when she's in her human form. It is supported by the fact that Fiona was sleeping when Shrek came to rescue her during the daytime.
Wake up!
What?
Are you Princess Fiona?
I am. Awaiting a knight so bold as to rescue me.
Oh, that's nice. Now let's go!
But wait,
Fiona's true form was an ogre. According to the witch's curse, Fiona would become her true form when she finds true love's first kiss. But in the end, Fiona became an ogre, not a human. This is confusing because Fiona's true form is a human. Both her parents are human, so by birth, she's a human. And when she kissed Shrek, she should have become a human, so why did she become an ogre? I know the first thing that comes to mind is that she became an ogre because of her love for Shrek. And while that is great, because it shows the power of love and all that, here's a theory that is actually plausible.
a princess locked in a tower and beset by a dragon is rescued by a brave knight. And then they share true love's first kiss.
Fiona becomes an ogre because she was a cannibal. After years of eating human flesh, she began to consider herself more ogre than human. This theory becomes more plausible when you consider the fact that she probably ate human flesh in her ogre form.
A banner fight! That's what all the other knights did!
Yeah, right before they burst into flame.
No, that's not the point!
She used her ogre form to survive, so in the end, it became her true form. What do you think of Princess Fiona? Do you think she's really a cannibal? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Please take a look at this recent clip by Director's Choice, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon so you don't miss any episodes.